afternoon, everyone. John Geha, CEO of the Greater Baltimore Board of Realtors, and I am very excited and pleased to have Jason Haber, one of the co-founders of the American Real Estate Association.
That's right. Taking the stage today.
Taking the stage
I love it.
today, Jason. So thanks for being here.
Of course. Thanks for having me, and thanks for having our trade association on to talk about our vision for the future and where the industry is going and what we're doing.
Well, there's a lot that has taken place, not just with the real estate industry itself, but what you're doing and how you started, and then the announcements. And there's some big announcements with
very big, yeah,
Compass and Remax, but the big announcement that I would want to get to is your work in Missouri.
Yeah. You know, that proves what we've did in Missouri, or when we're there, Missouri. What that proves is that our model can work anywhere in the country. And more importantly, we at ARA will work with anyone around the country to better real estate agents. That means working with realtors. I know there's a lot of talk about competition, rivalry. We look at none of that. Frankly, we think it's nonsense. We'll work with anyone in this country to make real estate agents better. Hard stop.
That's excellent. Now, isn't it the bottom line? How do we deliver a value to the consumer?
Well, you have to. And the way we look at that is we want ARA to be the bat signal for the industry. You have a problem, you have a challenge, you flash the signal, and ARA answers. And we're here to help as much as we can to support the agents in that community.
Jason, tell me about how you started. Give me a background, and our members a background of the history
of this association.
Of your association.
So let's go back 3 years ago, the last week of August, 3 years ago, 2023, the New York Times story comes out about sexual harassment and other issues within NAR. That weekend the story came out, was the only person that was calling for immediate change within the organization. And what struck me about the initial response to the New York Times story was the silence. John, silence and indifference is the greatest enemy that we face. And I was thunderstruck that here we have a country of real estate professionals, boards, state associations, advocacy groups, and no one was calling for change. I couldn't figure out why. Although at the time I had been licensed for 17 years, those were all in New York. I had only recently been licensed in the state of Florida and had been an NAR member for about 6 months. So I was about as new as it gets. In fact, in my first interviews, I had to write NAR on my hand because I kept referring to them as the NRA. I was very new to this whole ecosystem. But what I learned is that at the time they were so powerful in this industry and outside of it that they were, in essence, untouchable. And what we learned was when we started a coalition we called the NAR Accountability Project to push for change, to me, it wasn't enough to say they have to change, they have to change. We wanted to be specific. We came up with a 4-point reform plan. 3 of the 4 points ended up being implemented, whether they want to give us credit for that or not, don't care. And then after that, as this is happening, the lawsuit verdict comes out later that fall. And of course, the problems that NAR was having that I was dealing with on the sort of the cultural sexual harassment side had nothing to do with the verdict outcome.
Yes.
But in some ways, they were inextricably linked because they spoke to a core problem within the institution. And it was at that point in time when I connected with Mauricio Umansky because he had been talking also about doing something different and creating a new voice for the real estate agents of this country. And at that point in time, we started to get together. We had a series of meetings in California. We talked, and we ended up deciding to go forward with our trade association, which we announced at the Inman Conference in January 2024, the American Real Estate Association. We launched membership. It took months just to get the paperwork done. I'd never started a national nonprofit before, so this was very different from us. You know, there's no investors. You know, this is their money in, never comes out. We exist only for the benefit of our members, and there's a lot of ministerial work involved. By the time we were ready to launch membership, which we did August 15th, 2024, so 2 years ago roughly, and we had no idea where we would go with membership. I remember when we hit 12 members in that first week, and I was like, oh, here we go. We have double digit membership. You know, neither of us knew really, we had a vision, but we didn't know where it would go. And now, fast forward, we have firms that have enrolled all of their agents, like at Douglas Elliman. We have firms that have joined us and done opt-in programs, like at Remax, at Compass International Holdings. Someone told me, I don't know if this is true, but someone told me yesterday we're the fastest growing trade association in America right now. We're onboarding so fast that I can't even tell you the amount of members that we have right now. We're actually migrating to a new association management software because we have to keep track better of all of our new members as they come in, and our member communications are changing. We're adding staff. We're adding not only members, but we're adding a whole ecosystem that we're now building out around the country. So we're at a period of explosive growth. And I know for a lot of people, it feels very sudden. For us, we were building for this over the last 24 months to get us into this position. But I warn everyone, it's a very big country. And we were smart about how we grew because we started in New York City, their first local chapter called NIRAC. And we were intentional with that to understand what agents want, what works, what doesn't work. And we're going to build that platform more around the country. St. Louis and Missouri was another great example of that. And we'll continue to work around the country and grow and work with different trade associations as we grow around the country.
So your vision 2 years ago or 3 years ago and your vision today, has that changed? Has that evolved?
Same core. In one word, we want to elevation. We want to elevate the industry, whatever that takes. When we started, we talked a lot about the fact that there were too many darn agents in this country. And what I meant by that was we are a profession awash with non-professionals, and we accept that as okay. And a lot of the power structure in our industry is culpable to that. Gallup does a survey every year in December, the most admired professions in America. Real estate agents last year in the December poll ranked under lawyers and under car salespeople. We're responsible for the most important transaction in a person's life, and we rank under lawyers. Think about that for a second. Why does that exist? One, right now we have a system where the states benefit from more agents. Why? More origination fees, more renewal of licensure fees. There are certain associations out there that have fees that are effectively mandatory. And so the system has existed to pump out more and more and more agents. I don't know about you, but would you go to a cardiologist who practiced part-time?
Absolutely not.
Probably not.
No.
So that's how I look at it. I think that we need to make these fundamental changes in how we think about our profession. And I think once we do that, we'll elevate our profession and our professional standing with the public that seems to not fully understand how we do what we do and why we do it. A lot of what we do is a lot of the perception of the public of what we do is similar to Congress. People love their congressman or woman, but they hate Congress as a body. It's why Congress has a 12% approval rating, but yet a 96% reelection rate, even in this coming November, to be around that. So we have a lot of work to do in our industry to make these kinds of reforms. We started with that 2 years ago. We still believe that true today. Along the way, a couple of things have changed in this country. One, housing costs have spiraled out of control. And so affordability is an issue now that we focused on, where 2 years ago we weren't talking about it. We're laser focused on it right now. On our own, not to pitch our own podcast, of course, this one is amazing, but we have a podcast where we've talked to Republican and Democrat governors around the country about bipartisan solutions for affordability. And part of our work in Missouri was also about affordability. And so we think a lot about affordability in ways that we didn't do 2 years ago. So that's some way we've evolved.
You have a major announcement coming out pretty soon. You're not allowed to talk about that here today, are you?
I can't. When is this going to publish? I'm not going to say. But we have a bunch of announcements that I'm excited about. I see over my ear, Briggs is over here. He's saying, "Don't say it, don't say it." So don't worry, Briggs. Secret's safe.
Well, I'm looking at Chris the same because it's. Let's put it this way: the announcement is huge to the vision that you're talking about.
I think so, and I think because you're so experienced in the industry, you understand better than most right away what that would mean for us and why this is a big step for us. So it's honestly, it's just part of our evolution and growth as an association.
Well, so you talk about a platform, you talk about how you want to evolve and really move that realtor or the real estate agent, that professional, to the next level, moving up that ladder. Specifically, do you have a platform to do that?
Yes. So we're building that. So it's a couple of things. One, it is working with the states on licensure and continuing education requirements. I can tell you that in some of the states, there is some interesting licensure and coursework. Others, it's pretty appalling. And what we found, here's something really, and you'll find this interesting. So we did an experiment in New York where we looked at continuing education. And there's basically, here's a menu, and okay, you can do one of these classes. They're approved by the state, but you can get them anywhere. So we said, you know what, we're going to throw that out. We're only going to do original programming that you can't get anywhere else, and we're going to create our own CE courses. So the first one that we did, just throw it out there, New York City, post-war urban planning, 1945, 1990. You would think that we get 6 people to show up. Turns out we had a full house, we had standing room only, and we had a wait list for people to learn about the Robert Moses years and post-Robert Moses years in New York City. It turns out that really good agents want education that really benefits them. When our agents walked out of that room, they never saw New York City the same way. To this day, since we've been teaching that class, they tell us this. It changed the way they see New York City. How about that? How about education that changes the way you see your local market, that changes your understanding of why is that road over there? Why is this park over here? Why are there not more schools over here? Etc. Mm-hmm. Agents are really interested in that, but it also makes them better agents because they can convey this information to clients and help them make informed decisions. The best agents want to be educated and smart and understand their communities. And so what we've done in New York has been great because we can now take this and build this out around the country. And it's one of the things we're going to be doing as we scale.
The feedback you're getting and some of the pushback you're getting, because quite frankly, part of your pushback is unknown.
Yeah.
And so people are pushing 100%. Back because they don't know you. How are you getting your message out? And are you delivering that message to leadership at NAR?
So we do not. Listen, my phone is open to NAR. They can call us. That we don't talk to them. Whenever we have a policy proposal, like a white paper, we did something on what we proposed, clear collaboration to replace clear cooperation a year and a half ago. We sent an early copy to NAR as a courtesy. We thought that was respectful. We were happy we did that.
Did they respond to
no, that? But what can I tell you? But we did it. I think that for us, it's about being in our own lane and creating our own voice. And I'm proud of what we've done because when you're smaller like we are, let's face it, they've been around for over 100 years. They're all over we're so new, we can turn on a dime. We get an idea on a Monday, by Wednesday, it's on. Mm-hmm. So we're in a really exciting phase of growth right now. And people are calling us around the country. I can't believe it. It's still a bit of a pinch me moment when I got a call over the weekend from someone in Tennessee. And they were just been reading about you. I joined over the weekend and I want to be an active member. Great. So what we're doing is we're building out an apparatus so we can go more national. And without getting into all those details, I think we have some pretty good plans in place that will allow us to scale around the country.
So you have a new website that's coming out.
And one coming later. We actually, just this morning, we announced the new benefits package for agents for healthcare, for tax assistance, for legal assistance, for commission advancements through our partnership with Realty Co. Realty Co. is the leading behemoth in this country for real estate agent services. We're a proud partner with them. And just an hour and a half ago, before I arrived here, we announced that new opportunity for our agents where they're going to get VIP treatment from the Realty Co. team. And we're really excited about that. It's just every day we're rolling out other opportunities and other benefits and services for our agents. But again, we're still in the first inning. It's all very new.
Your staff, who's doing this? Is it you? Is it Mauricio, Briggs? How are you managing?
All on the above. So,
Okay.
Mauricio is, I know Briggs is off camera here. He's on the phone with him right now. Mauricio is incredibly involved. We speak multiple times a day in everything that we do. So we have an amazing board. We've been an all volunteer organization. That's now going to transition. As it is, we now have several people who are on part-time and are moving towards a full-time role. And that's part of our growth and evolution too, is shifting from this sort of volunteer model to a staffed day-to-day functioning association.
Okay. That's interesting. So let's shift here for a moment and talk about Compass.
Yeah.
And Chris with Remax. How did this evolve? And Douglas Elliman, you mentioned. How did this evolve into? That's massive growth, just like that, especially with Compass and with Robert making the decision. And I think from what I understand, his members, he will pay their membership for the first year and a half.
So the way it's working is, Compass is joining, Compass International Holdings has joined our association. The agents for a year and a half can register for free. Now, to be fair, it's only $20 for the year.
Yes.
So we've kept membership, and this is, again, intentional. We have a smaller budget than we otherwise would have. We're trying to build community. Agent community is everything to us. The more agents we have in our community, the more we learn, the more we grow, the more we're able to then develop services and respond to agent needs. So you do that, it's $20 a year. We all have a founding membership, which is also $1,500. And frankly, I'm amazed at how many people did the $1,500. Had I known that, maybe we would have done $2,500. But no, but they're our amazing part. They're the backbone of what we've done. They've gotten us to this point. But for $20, a lot of agents will give us a shot, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. And the renewals on those $20 are very high, by the way, since we started. So we've been gratified to have an agent community that's given us feedback that we can work, that's working with us. It's also like a lot of agents are saying, it's not like you're charging me $300 a year and I have to weigh whether I'm getting the value back. I think the email we sent this morning, where our services package that we rolled out, probably worth the $20 alone. So agents are discovering the value of being with us. And as we grow, there'll be more services, there'll be more benefits. And that's part of how you transition from a small startup to a national force.
Because I joined, I think I talked to you the day that you wrote the article.
You were very early.
Yeah. And we communicated right after you responded to the New York Times article. And so I joined because I have to be part of these changes.
Right.
I can't sit back and just be curious. You have to dive into this. But there's a vision that you're trying to capture. And I look at the real estate professionals out there, whether they're realtors or non-realtors, and there's hunger. Mm-hmm. There's hunger out there. How do we grab that and address the rumors, the misinformation, but how do we address the hunger where people truly want to be successful at their business?
Yeah, well, first, I think we've become the avatar for that hunger. I think the agents feel that there's legacy organizations that have become stale and they're looking for something else. Second, we are founded by agents for agents. So on my way here, I was on the phone negotiating a deal. So I get it. Mauricio gets it. Our board gets it because we're out transacting just like they are. Mm-hmm. So we understand what's happening real time out there. We know how hard it is to get a deal done. There's no such thing as an easy deal anymore. I haven't had an easy deal in several years. So we get that. And so we want to channel what's happening real time into our trade group and how we can help agents that are having the problems they're having, we're having, because we're in the market too. And so I think that we can be this beacon for them, and where they can have a community of fellow agents who understand what they're going through and supportive and help them get through it.
So you believe that some of these organizations around the states and around the country have lost touch the reality of the day-to-day.
Oh, I think
of the
so.
realtor.
I think it's changed.
agent.
It has changed dramatically over the last 5 years, but hold on to your hat because the next 5 are going to change 10x of the last 5. And so you're in this, not only this disruptive period, but this introduction of a new technology set that's going to completely and fundamentally alter how agents do their business in a way that we've never seen before. This will be like the internet exponentially different. So agents need to be ready for that. The best agents will survive and thrive in that environment, and others will be lost by the wayside.
Completely agree with you. AI is not going to destroy the real estate agent. It's going to enhance the agent that knows how to manage.
I mean, they've been calling for the end of the real estate agent for like 30 years. I mean, like Netscape was the end of the real estate agent, right? Like, I mean, text message was the end of the real, I mean, on and on and on. That is overwrought, but with that change, agents do need to master it. And those that do will be in very good shape.
Talk about the consumer's response to you. Are you measuring the consumer right now? And what are you hearing back from them?
So we exist for the benefit of our members, which is our agents. So that's always a priority. But and we're focused in the industry. But I will tell you, because in 2026, we've made this big push on affordability, we're getting tremendous response from consumers out there. One thing I want to make clear, John, to the consumer is that your real estate agent should not be your avatar for frustration on housing affordability. So what happens is, let's say I rent an apartment for $5,000 a month, a 1-bedroom in New York City. They go, that Jason Haber, he charged me $5,000 a month. He raised my rent, the heck with him. But what they need to understand is that Jason Haber is not setting the rent. The market is. And right now we have too many renters and not enough housing. There's a supply imbalance for a whole bunch of structural reasons. So I want the consumer to know not to blame the real estate agent because of where prices are, but that there is an association that's out there that's talking about things like zoning reform, single stair reform, parking mandate reform, other ways to increase housing supply. All of these things we've done this year. And all of those things will benefit the consumer. And as the consumer finds out more about us, what we want them to know is ARA is an ally on affordability. ARA gets it. They understand that housing costs have become out of control in this country. It's not an urban problem. It is a national problem. It is the #1 domestic issue of our time. We get that at ARA, and we are part of the solution.
So I want to jump into advocacy then, and I just recently sat on a panel and the conversation was trying to lean that interest rates were causing the problem with housing here. And the reality is it's the process.
Yeah.
Interest rates play a role, but from getting permits to the paperwork, lien sheets, whatever that is, the process, I can go and buy a $150,000 car this afternoon and drive off the lot with the car, but I can't buy a home in 30 days. So it's the process. So with advocacy, you had a big win.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. And then I'd like to hear how you see your role in the future based off of the victory you had in Missouri.
So in Missouri, there were 2 ballot amendments. Ballot Amendment 4, which was really anti-democratic, would limit how you get ballot measures on the ballot. It would require all of the 8 congressional districts in the state to approve it, which is almost impossible. It would stop ballot measures from getting on the ballot. We thought it was anti-democratic, and we won very big there. Ballot Measure 5 may have sounded very good on paper. It would have eliminated the income tax of the state. Well, great. Who would be against that? Well. The state had to make up the loss of income tax. So what were they going to do? Increase sales taxes and open the door to transfer taxes in the state of Missouri. Now, Missouri years earlier had already voted separately on transfer taxes to keep them out of real estate transactions. So this was basically a tax everything proposal where the income tax goes away on the state level, but everything else get taxed at much, much higher rates. And for active military service members, they're not even paying an income tax right now, but they sure as heck would be paying a sales tax. For a whole host of reasons, it seemed like a very a very poorly thought out proposal that may have caught some national trends about state income taxes, but the way that they were structuring it would have harmed working class folks in Missouri, and also the home buying process would have become that more expensive. Not just a transfer tax, but real estate services would have been taxed at a much higher rate. And it just would have made it harder to get people into homes, particularly first-time buyers. So we came out against it. We gave some money to the effort. We had our members calling into the state. I spoke to clergy in St. Louis about it to help get some grassroots efforts going. And we were just honored to play a small part, but to be a partner in a great coalition of Republicans and Democrats from across the state that sent a very clear message to Jefferson City in Missouri that this is not the way to go forward, and we were very successful.
And you worked closely with the state association?
So the state association called us, and then we worked with their consultants, who they were brought in on the political operations side.
Okay. And what was the response after the victory?
It was great. I mean, everyone was very happy. You know, it's like, can we get 80% of the country right now to agree that the world is not flat or that like the sky is blue? So I've been doing politics since, the late 1990s, and I've never been a part of a winning coalition that got 80%.
That was massive.
I'll take 53 any day. So to get 80 plus was just wild to me.
That's massive.
Yeah.
So now the next steps for advocacy moving forward for you. With this victory, obviously you have that success.
Yeah.
And that's part of your foundation.
So listen, so August 18th, I'm back in New York City. I'm testifying before the city council regarding the botched pied-à-terre tax rollout in New York City. We're doing a press conference, and we have a lot of members speaking to the New York City Council. We're turning our attention to other parts of the country as well. After that, we have some news coming out, which I won't be able to roll out just here yet. But it
teased a little bit.
You can go a little further south, but from where we are, but it doesn't. There's no finish line. But we keep growing and building, and there'll be losses along the way and election wins too. I've learned that over the last 25, 30 years or so. But the important thing is that we're involved in these fights for agents around the country.
You are, the entire conversation is agent focused. So I think the agents are going to really want to hear more and more. I'd love to hear more about the benefits package that you're going to be rolling out. And is that subject to state approval, or is it on a national level? How is that going to roll out?
So what we rolled out, what we announced earlier today is a national level through a partner of ours that's already has all of this apparatus approved. But what we are rolling out this fall with our members in our community hub is a whole new platform that I'm excited about. That's going to help agents connect with other agents. We have some good services that are in development there, and our programming will continue to evolve. So it's just not CE in New York State, but around the country as well.
Okay. Have you been in touch with organizations like Hondros or CE Shop about working with you?
Talk to a lot of them. What we'll probably end up doing is a hybrid where we'll work with them on some, but what we like about what we're doing at ARA is that we're creating original content that you can only get here. And so we've been going about getting those courses certified. I really believe that education is so important for agents, but it's done in oftentimes ways that are not beneficial for their careers. I cannot tell you. So I just got my continuing education completed in the state of Florida. So the final exam that you take after you've done the coursework, which is very brief, when you take the final exam, there was 30 questions. 10% of the questions were about NAR. I couldn't figure this out because I don't have to be a member of NAR to be licensed in the state of Florida. They're not a governmental body, but yet 10% of the test is about a trade association. I found that strange. I also don't think that agents need to know whether a governmental office is located in Orlando or Tampa or Tallahassee. But I do think that agents should know things about whether it comes to fair housing. I do think agents should know things about what's important to their business and how to communicate that to clients. I just think we have to take a wholesale fresh approach to how we're doing education for the agents of this country.
Love to hear if I was a fly on the wall, the conversation you and Robert Rifkin had before Compass joined you?
So we have conversations with CEOs all over the country. Every day we're talking to another CEO. Frankly, it wasn't much different than a 12-person firm. To be perfectly honest, it's the same conversation. It's the same pitch. The same things that I've said to you today are the same things I've said to Robert Rifkin, or the same things I've said to Robert Smith somewhere in the Midwest. They all want what's best for agents too, and they're willing to give us the opportunity to build something exciting together. We are not just about large firms. We're about supporting independent firms, small shops, big shops, the agents around the country.
Do I have to worry if I'm an agent and I'm a realtor? Do I have to worry about my membership with NAR?
No, I mean, you could be a member of 45 trade associations. It just happens that the way our industry has been governed, we've been in this interesting position where everyone was a member of one association. We encourage you to be a member of any association that you want. You know, it's interesting. In our industry, there's an interesting statistic. Outside of New York City, something like 99% of all real estate agents are members of NAR. But if you look at other trade associations, for example, 15% of all lawyers are members of the Federal American Bar Association, 17% of all doctors are members of the American Medical Association. But we have this industry where everyone's a member of that. It's how the industry is shaped up. I think there's plenty of opportunity for additional voices, particularly if we all want the same thing. And if we really do want the same thing, we all should be able to work together to achieve that.
It's interesting. You were doing a deal on the train up.
Yep.
You are a real estate professional. You are a voice of members to members. So tell me what I need to hear if I'm going to make a decision to join you.
Like, if you're interested in elevating the industry, elevating your business, being a part of the future of the industry, we hope you'll give us a shot. I think we're going to deliver for you in ways that you want, but in also ways you haven't thought of. Because I think what we're building is so outside of the box that by becoming a member, giving us that opportunity and seeing where we go in 1, 2, 3 years, especially with all the change that's coming in our industry and in our culture, in our society over the next few years, you're going to be glad you were with ARA for the ride.
If Nikia called you, would you take the call?
100%.
Sherry?
100%. By the way, I've met Sherry at events. We've had great conversations, and I have nothing but good things to say about them.
Okay. So the invitation is open.
They know my number.
And the bottom line is, how do we protect the relationship between the real estate industry and the consumer?
We need to be on the consumer side. We have to be fighting our agents. While we fight for our agents at ARA, our agents need to be fighting for the consumer. The consumer needs to know we're an ally. We're an ally in affordability. We're an ally in home ownership. We are not the adversary. We're there for them and to support them.
Any last thing you want to say, Jason?
Well, this has been so much fun. Stay tuned. Have me back on where we can talk about the other news that we're like teasing that I can't say because my board of directors, my chairman's over here, and he'll throw me out the window if I say too much.
We will definitely have you on.
You got a deal.
And we'll stay in touch.
Excellent. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for taking the train up to, and welcome to Greater Baltimore.
Well, I love Baltimore. I remember my first time at Camden Yards. I was like, this is an experience coming from Shea Stadium. Growing up near Shea, I will tell you, I've always loved Baltimore, the Inner Harbor, and I love my crab cakes here. And I love Baltimore.
Excellent. Well, if you're in town, September 10th, we have the state of Baltimore. That'll be an outstanding event for you to hear some of our political leaders, our economists, and our economic development leaders to talk about the future of Baltimore, because Baltimore City and Baltimore County have a bright future.
Right. They sure do.
So love to have you up.
You got it.
Safe travels back.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. Thanks everyone.
Thanks, everyone. We love to hear your thoughts and comments about this. This is a very open opportunity to start our discussion and dialogue about the future of the real estate industry.